Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be looking at some posts from r/AmITheButthole. So if that sounds like your kind of thing, strap in because they're always insane and enjoy. So we're starting off strong with, am I the butthole for telling my brother to stop coming unannounced and changing the lock? My brother, Chris, 27, fake name. Of course, they're always fake names. Like, we should just take that as a given at this point, to be honest. My brother Chris moved in with my boyfriend, 28M, and I, 26F, 7 years ago. We took pity on him after he was kicked out of my childhood home for drug use and sleeping in his car. At first, Chris and my boyfriend got along great. After a few years of living together, Chris became more reclusive and distant from us both. Chores were not being done around the house, and I was getting sick of cleaning up after him and his negative attitude. 6 months prior to the end of our lease, I told Chris that he had to find another living situation. He did finally move out a few weeks prior to the end of our lease, and I thought we all agreed about splitting up the shared appliances and valuables. One thing we did not discuss was our shared robot mopping device. We acquired this one day at my grandmother's house a few years ago. She was moving and offered it to all three of us as she would not be using it. So we brought the little robot home. This thing is nothing fancy, just a small device you fill with cleaning solution and attach disposable mop heads. I really hope that you gave it some googly eyes. If you didn't, I'm going to be entirely disappointed. So here I'm assuming it should say brother never had turned the thing on. It was always boyfriend or I splitting the cost of pads and setting this thing up to run nightly so we'd all wake up to clean floors downstairs. That sounds amazing. If I didn't have cats and know for a fact that they would freak the F out if I had something like this, I would totally get something like this. That sounds so cool. And absolutely I would give it googly eyes and a wig. Don't you have any doubts about that? Chris hasn't returned his key because he's still slowly moving things out. It's been over a month now, and he always showed up unannounced to our home to gather boxes and his belongings. Sometimes we wouldn't even realise he was there while we had been out. Something tells me that Chris is taking so long to move all of his stuff out on purpose. It shouldn't take this long. Over a month? No. I would say, okay, you can come and get your stuff whenever you're ready, but I want that key back. Thank you, please. Last night, boyfriend was looking for our little robot friend as we had just gotten new pads delivered for it. Turns out, after going crazy looking for this thing and texting Chris, he did take it, claiming, yeah, he's mine. This was the last straw. We had been so accommodating to this man for years. I just can't believe Chris had the audacity to take our beloved robotic cleaning friend without a word. Yeah, that is sacrilege, I'm not gonna lie. I have let Chris know that we are no longer comfortable with him coming by unannounced, and if he needs anything, we will look for it ourselves. I also said he can return his key to the office and we will pick it up. His response? Stop being weird. I don't want any of your trash shite. I already had all my useful grown-up equipment stole anyways, so stop texting me before you make me mad. Or what are you going to do, Chris? What are you going to do? The grown-up stuff referred to here is indoor greenhouse and hydroponics. Hydroponics? Is that thing where it's all like a water irrigation system for your plants? I think it is, isn't it? Something like that. What was he using that for, I wonder? Which was verbally agreed for an even split of materials since both Chris and boyfriend acquired the equipment together. Boyfriend ordered a camera that will be here tomorrow. I've contacted the leasing office to make them aware of the animosity between us and requested the locks to be changed. I just want to know, am I going too far? This robot is not at all expensive, but it's more the principle to me. I feel disrespected. We all have to see each other next week for Thanksgiving, and I know it will be awkward. Update posted in comments. Yeah, no, you're not being out of line at all. He doesn't live there anymore. He has no right to have a key. If you say you don't live here anymore, give me my key back. He needs to give the key back. He is being a cheeky little get. I'm going to read the top comment and then I will go back and I will find that update. So in the comments, wielder of aphorisms says, not the butthole, your freeloading brother took the final step over the line. And then OP says, I appreciate your reply. Thanks for taking the time to read. I agree, he's a freeloader and an arrogant one at that. Okay, so let's get into the update. Okay, so in the update, it says, hello again. I just wanted to start by saying thank you all for your judgments on my last post. I read every comment and gave each perspective some thought. Ultimately, you guys helped me gain the confidence to stand up for myself and ask for our robot back. I included my text conversation with my brother Chris in the comments of my last post. To summarise, I asked politely as I could for our mopping robot back, as well as stated the reasons why it belonged to us. Chris refused to see reason and pretty much said he would be cutting me out of his life if I kept bringing this up. I'm not going to go back through the texts and the text post and all of that lot because, that basically, as the poster says, summarises what the contents was, so I don't feel that we really need to do that. My wonderful boyfriend couldn't sit back and let him be disrespectful to us anymore. He had his own conversation with Chris, which for privacy reasons cannot be shared. I hope that's because your boyfriend threatened to wrap that mop around the back of his head. And so you can't for legal reasons. Boyfriend ended up taking some of your guys' advice and threatened to reveal some specific information to our family if our robot was not returned on Thanksgiving. This was last Thursday, so we had 1 week to make a decision. I wonder if that information was something to do with the gardening hydroponics system. Yeah, I have a feeling that might be it. After a quiet week, I was preparing myself to drop a bomb on family dinner, but then I went out to start warming up my car Wednesday night and there was a box on my front step. I didn't order anything, and as I picked up the box, I noticed it wasn't sealed. Guys, our robot found his way home! Woohoo! I love how the robot was in a box on your front step like a lost little kitten or something. That's so funny and so cute in a weird way. Talk about applying perceived sentience to a completely inanimate object. I guess Chris decided that a mopping robot was not worth ruining his reputation with our family. He will not be bothering us anymore, and we will be low to no contact from now on. Now, a positive from all this drama, boyfriend and I are utilising our home monitoring cameras to watch our pets. Ah, I love that. Our dogs and cats' activities while home alone are so entertaining, and it's brought us a lot of joy to check in on them. Aww. Family photo will be posted in comments of the pets and robot. Have a great holiday season, everyone. Now, I'm not going to post the picture because I don't know, it feels kind of icky to me to post a personal picture of somebody's without permission. So if you just go to the username that was on the screenshot when I first started reading this post, you can then go to their update post, go down in the comments, and it is in there. It's a bit different reading the posts because obviously the usernames are usually completely anonymous, but when it's a picture of the inside of someone's house and their pets, I'd rather you go to their post where they've personally decided to share it than putting it up myself. Next post, am I the butthole for refusing to sell the expensive clothes my friend gave me? My husband, M30, wants me to sell designer clothes my well-off friend gave me. Why? The clothes total in 3k, with 2 of the articles of clothing costing 1k to 1.5k. Can I be friends with your friend, please? The price tags were left on the articles of clothing. It's an extremely fancy brand and I've only ever seen on TV, Armani. I could never afford these articles of clothing and I was really excited to style it. I got special bags for them to stay in. Could never purchase these. Yeah, and I wouldn't want to sell them either. I'd be like, I can't afford this stuff. I go to Tesco's and see a top for a tenner and I'm like, haha, no, that's a bit posh for me, that is. I mean, to be honest, I find it absolutely near impossible being able to find clothes that actually suit my sense of style anyway, which is basically just an emo in her 30s. Pretty much. My husband thinks I should sell them and they'd help us afford a new couch. The idea of a few pieces of fabric being worth a couch is insane to me and I get why he wants me to sell it, but I don't want to. He's upset and saying I'm putting this fabric before our family's comfort. I think I'd offend my friend if I return them and also I don't want to. Am I the butthole for refusing to return the expensive clothes? Absolutely not. If your friend has gifted them to you, it is absolutely insane to go and return them just so that you can pinch the money instead. Your friend has obviously gifted them to you because she knows you can't afford this sort of stuff, but she knows you would love it. So she has gone out there and bought it for you herself. And I think it would be real disrespectful to go and sell it just to have the money. On your husband's behalf, of course, because you don't want to. You want to keep them. You could never afford them yourself. You love them. No, absolutely not. And that is money you wouldn't have had anyway. Update to add, before I posted this, I already started to look for a secondhand couch. I found some from Ashley's for 100 each and they are in great condition. He wanted someone new, but he's happy with it. I'm guessing that means something new. I found a bunch of stuff around the house that are mine to sell. I put them on the market. I told him I wouldn't be selling the dresses, but he could sell the PS5 he never plays. Exactly. Go and sell your PS5, mister. Oh, you're being selfish. Well, you're being selfish. You're putting a few motherboards in plastic before your family's comfort. Go and sell your PS5, you massive tube. We are good now. Thank you all for the reassurance. I was feeling guilty for a moment, but you'll help me flip the script, and I think we got an understanding now. Exactly. And you know what? There is nothing wrong with secondhand sofas. My sofa was secondhand. This old lady had had it before me for like I don't even want to think how many years and what sort of stuff is down behind the inside of that thing, but they were free. I had just moved house, obviously, got 2 kids, single parent, self employed, not exactly the most well off, and they were free. And you know what? I think you could drop those things from a 15-story building and they would just bounce and be fine. They are the sturdiest things ever. They don't make sofas like that these days. Secondhand all the way. Answering questions. We aren't poor, our bills are paid, but we aren't rich. I'm a frugal minimalist and I wanted our extra money to be saved for gifts for our kids for this Christmas. We can't afford a brand new couch he wanted. In his defense, I'm frugal and I think he was just wanting something new and his. I told him we could sell the things I listed above and whatever else he wanted, but not the dresses. And I think that's a perfectly good compromise. I totally get wanting something new and some things not wanting to compromise on. I think literally everything in my house is secondhand other than our beds because I love secondhand furniture. I love older furniture. I've got a very sort of I like the inside of my house to look like a vampire's library. Put it that way. That's the only way I can describe it. And you can't get that look from modern furniture. So I love the old furniture and like buying like getting stuff like that. So I like it secondhand. However, beds, they've got to be new because to be quite frank, it makes me feel a little bit sick thinking that someone else might have been sleeping in my bed. Like, skin flakes, gross. Down in the comments, this user says, not the butthole, they're yours, not his. If he got gifted something expensive that he really loved, would he be willing to sell it? Regardless, a price tag is one thing, but you might only get a fraction of what they're worth. Exactly. If you're able to successfully sell them in the first place, online reselling websites and brick and mortar consignments both will take substantial fees, but clothing in general doesn't keep its value unless it's a specific item that someone has been searching for in particular, but you can't predict that. For example, I recently purchased a cardigan from someone online for $40, even though it had still had the original price tags on it that priced it at $400. Wow, that is a bargain and a half. Well done. It's an item that's in season and from a well-known brand. You must also keep in mind that for a lot of these brands, the price tag also factors in the experience of buying the item from a boutique and the prestige of it. People are willing to pay more when they get the whole personal shopper with champagne experience. Also, many would find it very offensive if you choose to sell the gift. Yeah, exactly. Next up, am I the butthole for refusing to let my mum's boyfriend walk me down the aisle? I, 24F, am getting married next summer, and ever since I started planning the wedding, my mum, 48F, has been pushing for her boyfriend, 50M, to walk me down the aisle. My dad passed away when I was 10, and my mum started dating her boyfriend about 6 years ago. While he's always been nice to me, I've never seen him as a father figure. He came into my life when I was already an adult, and we're friendly, but not particularly close. I told my mum that I planned to walk myself down the aisle as a way to honour my independence and my dad's memory. She got really upset, saying her boyfriend has earned the spot by being there for me all these years. She even accused me of disrespecting her relationship and trying to erase my dad, which couldn't be further from the What? No, you've just said you're doing it in your dad's memory. How are you trying to erase him? Which couldn't be further from the truth. Yeah, clearly. Now, her boyfriend is avoiding me, and my mum keeps calling me selfish and saying I'm ruining the wedding before it even starts. A few family members are also weighing in, saying I should let him do it to keep the peace, but this is my wedding, and I feel I should have the final say. Am I the butthole? No, absolutely not. And yeah, you're right, it's your wedding. Like, what is your mum going on about saying, oh, my mum keeps calling me selfish and saying I'm ruining the wedding before it even starts? It's your wedding. If you wanted to, quote unquote, ruin it, that would be on you anyway. That's your decision. It's your wedding. Why do I feel like your mum is trying to live vicariously through you for some reason or another? It does get that feeling, and I think that maybe your mum has a little bit of an issue with trying to control things as well, just from the outside looking in. Down in the comments, Detective Queasy1711 it just made me laugh. I don't know why. I'm so freaking childish. Grow up. Not the butthole. This is your wedding, and hopefully your only one. It should be perfect according to you and your partner's needs and desires, not an area for point of contentions. Your mother is being manipulative and insulting. She says you're trying to erase your dad. You've already mentioned you're doing this to honor your father's memory. She's using your closeness to your father to control you. She's saying her boyfriend has earned the spot by being there for you all these years. You don't get to earn a spot in a wedding. You simply get one given to you from the marrying couple. Nor should they feel disrespected for you wishing to honor your father and your independence. She keeps calling you selfish and saying that you're ruining the wedding before it even starts. She's now resorting to being insulting. Exactly. It's like she's not getting her own way. So she thinks, maybe I can twist your arm and strong arm you into doing what I want by just being an absolute mare and making you feel terrible. Next up, am I the butthole for telling my boyfriend's aunt I could call the cops on her after she stole my Coachella ticket? Now, I don't know much about Coachella, but am I right to understand that they're like really expensive tickets? I'm sure I heard they're really expensive. It's not really my kind of thing anyway, but I'm assuming they're expensive, being festival tickets and what have you. Been with my boyfriend for 6 years and have known his aunt throughout those years. We were pretty close. She now lives with his parents because she cheated on her husband. Oh, my life. And the new boyfriend now lives there too. Oh, off to a fantastic start. Lovely. We moved to an apartment but still get our items shipped to our parents since our place is sketchy. I had bought Coachella tickets and it was sent to his house. Well, 2 weeks before Coachella, the person I was going to Coachella with got COVID, so we decided to sell our tickets. Only problem is, my ticket never came. We kept asking everyone who lived at the house for weeks if they had seen the package, to which they said no. We searched the living room and the kitchen, but nothing came up. A month prior to this, his aunt had told his mum that she was selling Coachella tickets that her boyfriend had gotten from his niece. It never crossed my mind that the ticket was mine. I was starting to get stressed because the ticket was $600. Yeah, see, it was super expensive. And I was about to have to drive to the venue to pick up my ticket and go to the concert alone. The day before Coachella, my boyfriend's aunt confesses to her crime. Her boyfriend had stolen my ticket and had been trying to sell it off. His aunt tried to say she had no idea it was my ticket because the package had no name. This is a lie, yeah, clearly. And am I right in thinking that quite often they put your name on the actual ticket as well? Once I hear about it, I immediately start shaking and sobbing, feeling betrayed and that we stressed out over nothing. Since they probably already had sold the ticket, I couldn't even go to Coachella. My boyfriend called his mum to tell her how effed up this is, and his parents agree. She never apologizes, just keeps up her lies and excuses. I was so fed up and said that, it's illegal to steal other people's mail. I could go to the police about this. This upset his aunt, and I felt bad about this. Don't feel bad. To be honest, I could already tell what an absolute piece of work your aunt was when at the beginning you said she cheated on her husband and that's how she ended up back at, her sibling's house with her F-buddy. My boyfriend said the right thing to do is for my aunt to send us the $600. We haven't talked about this incident since with them, but I know they talk crap about me to their whole family because that's what they do. When I go to his family parties, I just stay quiet and act friendly. I'm an extremely sensitive person, and the thing that hurt me the most about this situation is that someone close to me could lie and betray me like that after seeing how stressed me and her nephew was. I feel like the a-hole because I've created a rift between them and his ex-favourite aunt. I still feel guilty. Did I overreact? Did I mess up his relationship with his family? No. Absolutely not. You did not overreact. They stole from you, and $600 worth of goods is nothing to be sniffed at. That is a lot of money. She's obviously already an absolute cretin because she's quite happy to go and cheat on her husband, so the writing was on the wall, written in crap the whole time. She's obviously a gossip and a nasty gossip at that because you said that's, she's going to talk about us behind our back at family gatherings because that's what she does. She's not a good person. People who are like that need to stop being pandered to, need to be given all barrels, and need to be taken down a peg or two. You are not the butthole. Do not feel bad. In fact, feel great. Feel great about the fact that you've probably really panicked her, because I'm sure as soon as she heard the word police, because you could have got her in a lot of trouble for that. Down in the comments, Bujo Momo says, definitely not the butthole. The aunt owes you $600 and an actual apology. I thought she confessed anyway. Am I missing something? Yeah, exactly. She confessed. So she needs to apologise. I bet you she hasn't. And then OP replies, she never apologised, she confessed, but it was more like she said it had slipped her mind. She said she didn't know it was my ticket and played it off as a misunderstanding, but I knew she was lying because of her past actions. I couldn't get into it, but basically she lies quite a bit and always plays a victim, which is why I brought it up that she cheated, because it definitely helps describe her character. Oh yeah, it certainly does. I do feel bad for her in some aspects, and that she's always been a great aunt to my boyfriend, which is why I feel guilty about everything. I felt like I blew it out of proportion. Absolutely not. She stole from you. There's no blowing that out of proportion. If she wants to do the crime, she's got to do the time, my love. But no, you're definitely not the butthole. She needs a kick in the butthole, though, I'll tell you that much. Am I the butthole for not allowing in-laws to be present on Christmas morning while our kids are opening gifts? Me, 28F, and my husband, 27M, disagree on how we should handle Christmas mornings. For perspective, I'm an only child. Christmas morning was always done at home with my parents, and after opening gifts, we'd head over to my grandparents to celebrate with them. They all still live local. My husband is in the middle of three, and they often had a family that lived out of state, so Christmas mornings were sometimes at their home, sometimes at a grandparent's out of state, etc. We alternate our holidays between Christmas and Thanksgiving with our families. Before having kids, we'd stay with them for a week or a long weekend over Christmas. After having kids, I want to be at our home for Christmas morning, and then spend the rest of the day with the family or his family, depending on the year. Yeah, I think that's perfectly acceptable. Like, doing it that way. It's not like you're saying we're not going to see you at all. You're just saying, yeah, we'd like to do the morning by ourselves, because that Christmas morning with children is absolute chaos, and then we'll come see you later. What's so hard about that? Our kids are still young, 2 and 1, but it's still such a special moment for me, and I want it to be sacred and intimate amongst the 4 of us. We only get so many years of little kids on Christmas mornings, and I want to soak up every single moment. His parents live 3 hours away and are having his siblings come the 22nd to the 30th. No one else has kids yet. I told my husband that we should have our kids open up presents on Christmas morning and then make the drive to their place shortly after. He is calling me selfish and inconsiderate of his parents' feelings, because it would mean the world to them to watch their grandkids open presents from Santa. My mum has made some comments in the past how Santa would always travel for them wherever they went. We had this same argument last year, and I told my husband that they had their turn with their own kids, and this is now about us and our children. I still want to see and celebrate with his family, but only after Christmas, just the 4 of us on that morning. Am I being unreasonable? Absolutely not. No. So they expect you to bundle 2 excited, antsy kids into the car and drive 3 hours before they get to open presents. If your in-laws are that determined they want to see the kids open presents on Christmas morning, why don't they get their asses down and drive and come to you so that they can watch them open presents at your house? Like, why can't they do that? But even still, you don't want them there in the morning. You want to have that just between the 4 of you, and that's completely acceptable. Your husband sounds like one of those absolutely annoying mummy's boys, and he needs to get out of his mum's ass pocket. He really does. TLDR, husband thinks we shouldn't exclude his family from watching the kids open presents on Christmas morning, and I want the moment to be intimate, the 4 of us only. Then head to his family after. Edit. I would be totally fine if the grandparents wanted to come here for Christmas, but they already made plans to host at their house with everyone, so we will be travelling to them regardless and staying with them for several days. I just requested that we watch the kids open present from us in our home and experience Christmas morning, just the 4 of us, before heading over to his parents. Kids will have presents to open at the grandparents too. We all exchange gifts with extended family as well. Yeah, exactly. So it's not even like you're saying, no, you're not allowed to watch them open presents. They can open open presents there. Basically, what is happening is the in-laws just don't like that they're not getting their own way and they're kicking off. Your husband's a massive mummy's boy, so he's basically got her in his ear going, I want to watch this. And he's going, okay, I'll make sure it happens, mummy. Yes, 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 I will. And they all need to just stop. Stop it right now. Puzzle-headed Bet 156 says, I had exactly this issue years ago when my children were small, but the grandparents with us were lovely. We opened our presents at home on Christmas morning, just us, and then travelled to the grandparents where, surprise, surprise, Father Christmas had left more presents for them to open in front of the extended family. Win-win. Yeah, exactly. And who doesn't love having double presents? When I was a kid, my parents were divorced, so we had two separate households, and there is nothing better than going and having Christmas one morning, and then you get to have another one the next day. It was great. Double the presents. And on that note, I am going to leave it there. I had physio this morning, so I'm so achy. I think I might go and take a nap before I have to go and pick up the kids from school. So I hope you really enjoyed the video, and if you made it to the end, I am extremely grateful. I would really appreciate it if you popped a like and subscribed, because I do post videos every single day, so you can make your way back here for those then. Other than that, I hope you have a really good rest of your day, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.